Ni nyina fa ye mmofra ya wokotro nso hwe a wose wonwa fili potoi na che se fili no nye se fili na mmofra no fili yo akande bi wo ho a won anya.
Ask the backbench, Adam Agbana, ask the rest of the backbench. How many desks were they able to send to their schools? None. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the declining nature of education outcome, it must be a worry.
Metiefo ne ahwefo nyina kwa ba Edibakoda Media TV sabe media ne ka kire ejaye odi asempa dwumadi a watundin kirikire mu na metene go ma mede beso metiefo ne mahwefo nti dedi kan roba so a mesre no wa subscribe to Edibakoda Media TV se ne be ya dwumadi ne koso no afofo so benya bi na wonya so mfa so nti wo like na wa share ni mu no na mfaso di ni ebeba se ne be obi benya bi atie na wo de kan kire na anya na asem foforo. Honorable Ntim Fodjuor mmerahye begwani ma nkurafo a wowo Asin South Asin Mansini no memfa se Asin traditional area no won atoye fam ho no you eho na anafu fam ho semu anafamum Tifini na funti na fufem ho no south ho no mmerahye begwani o hwe sa mpesua no Honorable Reverend Ntim Fodjuor odensem bi ehuhia pa batugu a ehia se etie ni ye ne fa ho adwene na sebe onyansa ho eni oba ko futim nanso ebitimi ye nyansa fosin binumo Yakopon hyehyɛ betimi awo baby kura na ohwese ne a abofra ketwa ne yesi tifa na otimi se ne nsem bisem ne ade kura otimi se abofra yi na adwene mu dɔ bia wewu kura kwa asaba ebinum gindi nen na papa yi nsem ode gu mmerahye bigwam nnera no in fact amaniema bi adan kakra ni nyina fa ye mmofra ya wokotro nso hwe a wose wonwa fili potoi na che se fili no nye se fili na mmofra no fili yo akande bi wo ho a won anya ni woman say a teacher for a wo mathematics dodan kwa kufu adomere no na wo ma incentives mmofra no ko school normal in time na so wopon a sa mmiri bi a mathematics teacher mmofra na why ade mathematics no wo no esua de kakra be ye dohwere baako ana dohwere fa enu nti no wo so kofia na gisadi na fa ko tonsu wo mmra wo se wo mmofra no ho no na no emma teacher fo no nya opepa bi nkuranhyesem bi mo se me mathematics teacher na metimi asembre akira abrofon abofra na de additional time no ntino mere kofie yi wo amama nkonsa pan menye biribi asebe ekurase mpo na me wona se meso kane a menye sika di ato kresin ana menena frene kresin na me de agumi kaneyam ukakua pema sa na ye kan kresin yanka kerosene yanya abrofo ye ka kresin sa na English teacher ono so waselete mmofra na wayade wo brofo kasemu no wonso sara abode nyansapem science wonso sara ende nsembinti inga yabakwasam afi ho nipa bi tumbeda dinti yayi history afi yen kalikalam mmofra na begye behu nipa bi so banti esende the history and geography abom my friend social studies was a some kwa so be fan sara eno so e wo teacher ni a ono so be di sa adwuma no na eyirum nyina eni si ba pawe ama sika se wode ma education minister no de bo adesua ho ban no ne nsa nka Aduan ese se mmofra ni di o school mpo na wanya obepa de sua de no wonya. Yenkotie yenua kuma yenua pani me wo faase Reverend Ntim Fodjuor. Ensem wo hwie gu fam.
Ask the backbench, Adam Agbana, ask the rest of the backbench. How many desks were they able to send to their schools? None. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the declining nature of education outcome, it must be a worry. In the year 2015, only 2% of our peoples in this country, only 2% of peoples at P2 could read by the EGRA assessment. We managed to invest heavily into the education sector from all levels, particularly foundational level. We took it to minimum 38% by 2023. Do we want to go back to the era where only 2% peoples were reading? On WASI outcomes, Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the quality of education, we have world-class indicators, undisputed, that we use to measure education outcomes to know how well our education is doing. When we have bequeathed to you a WASI pass rate of English, core maths, integrated science, and social science, just as recent at 2023, 73.11% of our people, of our WASI candidates passing English, integrated science, 66.82%, mathematics, 62.3%, social studies, 76.7%, past A1 to C6. Under your watch, you have taken mathematics to 48.873%. Mr. Speaker, the dangerous thing about this resource is that more than half of our children who sat WASI will be denied opportunity to enter any tertiary institution. More than half. Over 52% of our learners will have to sit home. Their parents will have to pay several thousands of cedis for research, because you are not releasing money to the Ministry of Education to undertake. You promise, you are talking about feeding, you promise headmasters that if they vote for you, you will send money directly to them so that they feed the students. You even promise, President Mahama promised that, so that they will go and buy aponchin and do aponchin kakra for our students, only for them to come to power. They released for just a few months and the releases stopped. And then they reverted to buffer stock for some time. Now, as we speak, another directive went that because the suppliers of buffer stock are old in arrears, the government can no longer go to them to supply food. So the headmasters should now go and face suppliers and credit more food so that our students can have something to eat. Mr. Speaker, I have taken the pain to visit some of the schools, and if you see the kind of food our students are eating, it is terrible. Why? Because they are refusing to release 12 billion cedis to the minister. How do you expect Honorable Harun Idrisu to maintain decent feeding system when 12 billion is in arrears? Mr. Speaker, on double track, they promised that when they come into power, immediately they will end double track. The moment they got into power, they said, we are deferring to 3 years. Honorable Kwachi Fosu should tell us which additional space they have created in our secondary schools. He was talking about overcrowding. He should point to us even a single additional space they have created within this period. Release money to the minister. 12 billion in arrears, Mr. Speaker, is unacceptable. I do not think that the Speaker himself will be excited about this. Mr. Speaker is a heavy continental advocate for education. He will not countenance 12 billion in arrears. It is an ailing sector. Mr. Speaker, you need resources to drive outcomes. Now, if we take out Gallup, that is a donor-funded program transforming over 10,000 least performing schools. If you take that intervention out, what is left of our education sector? Commitment from the government. So we are urging that the 39 billion cedis that is allocated in this budget, whilst we even think that it is inadequate, we are urging this government that the best course of action is to ensure 100% release to the minister to ensure that we have commensurate outcomes. A few years ago, our students from Memphis Girls and Prempeh could go to the United States of America and compete in robotics and STEM and become first, beating their compatriots from Singapore, Australia, and Canada. Today, what is the story? All the STEM schools that were under construction, the 11 that were able to commission, the rest that are left are still as it is. What we see is relaunch upon relaunch. And the sad thing is that after the minister has most enthusiastically relaunched certain programs, the funding that must go with it is locked up in the bosom of Honorable Ntim and his boss. Mr. Speaker, let the finance ministry release. Education it must not be locked up at finance ministry. It must be released to the education ministry. I know the competence of Honorable Haruna Idrisu. It is never in doubt. Even at the age of 39, we know the wonders he did at Ministry of Communication. But why is the education sector ailing now? Because 12 billion cedis is in arrears. But once we look at the finances, we must also turn our attention to the relevance of our education system. When we talk about having a serious look at the various factors that are accounting for this, we were expecting a very patriotic approach. But what we see is government machinery released. And all we hear is because, and a blame game given to the teachers. That teachers cheated in the past. Teachers abetted WASI candidates in the past. And that is the reason why we have stellar performances of our children. That is most regrettable. That is most regrettable. The same teachers we have 3 years ago are the same teachers. And we must put on record that the biggest partners of our education success story has been our teachers. They supported the creditable implementation of free SHS. They ensure the holistic development of every child that passed through our public education system. So if today you are even failing to release their allowances to them, and you are deferring, this will be the first year that teachers' allowances are being deferred. So if you are refusing to pay our teachers, do not blame this rather appalling performance on the teacher. If the teacher is supported, he will deliver instruction. If the students are also supported and prepared adequately, they will face the examination with confidence. And they will get back to the days when the topmost 3 people who became the topmost performers in the whole of West Africa, beating Nigeria, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, were Ghanaians. Today, only 48% of them are passing mathematics. Could it be that they are putting a natural ceiling to how many people must access their no stress fee?
Yes. Honorable Ntim Fodjuor, MP for Asen South. Adwene ne mabue onimde papa. Ye de bi tutu bi ho a na ye hu din a ye de ma won. Se ne achem asum hene ti ba bi se nipa bi yes ankwase no. Dachi bi mebobobo videos bi a kire nana no na waselete sankwasefo a wowom. Mmere nkoye. On time kuchu. Anim de fo na kasa no. Okasa nyina hare na dusu nanim atwa brode se tew na ote ho. Ohun ne oka. Oso odabo. Akande assistant ko de ma na ode didwuma no. Wonsa nka. Because esika no esese ye de supporto dollar. Na si de nitibi bɔ no twere artificial kwanso. Na o maame ewu na wo se wada. No nsia so na mofra paduan dia. Oho na behu so maame ewu na so nwui. Enti Reverend Ntim Fodjuor nsema odi agu famnin. And it is going to cost awofo no. Se obesam wo manoma akwakwo twere obi. Ni ndi sifo ye ya asi. Nipa pi dachi asai. Abofra bi wo ho abeka kire maame se enye makonno se meku school bio. Utwene timpo asa na obeka. Wase ne dachi. Na suban bi a wo mpese obehu oba ni mu no eno ne yeba behu mana mun yade bia mun nwunu nkwa achi mun ye bibia turkan se kokuntenkwan ya tora wontimi mfandi saa na mun ye bibia turkan enne mofra dodo a wo feli yi na mo na mo mperawanyinsɛn ho asɛm ɛna mofra bebes fie abede bosoma biesa ɛna wotete fie ɛna wɔbɛnye nwom mampanyi dwondam ne ma kan saa asɛm ne bi next year yɛnhwɛ mofra dodo a wɔbɛnyem wɔn a wo feli yɛnhwɛ mofra dodo a wɔbɛnyem na fa bɔ ho safo hene na ne nyinaa bɛko atia mo ɛbɛsrɛ ɛyɛ ɔma no mpuntu ne nyinaa yɛhwehwɛ kasa nyinaa yɛ ɔma no mpuntu to build a better democracy, a beautiful Ghana for future generation. Mese ne yɛdi mmiri yɛdi mpanyi ya yɛdi ya amanfo tototo wɔn cars na sika kɛse na okubi fie kura 10 cities wɔn yusu wɔ hɔ gye 100 ni 200 cities saa Ghana no obi na prepare to hɔ nti yɛn so yɛsɛ prepare betu ma ekiri ma no wɔn so wɔba bedi na sɛ ne yɛbɛyɛ ne de a ɛna nipa bi begye dimbone daakye bi koda media TV suni bidini ka chiri eja yodi asempa wutie sɛnea honorable Ntim Fodjuor statistics of the to hɔ efi 2021 2022 2023 abesi 2024 na ohwe pass rate percentage a wonyan now the compare this year na education minister wona president mo se maboa Ghana fo a ma mo jejiriji koda media TV sini edin ne ka chiri eja yodi asempa dwumadi atundin chirichirim